Welcome to this deep dive, tailored just for you. Today, we're zeroing in on a security issue affecting digital signage systems.
Specifically Samsung MagicINFO.
Exactly. And this deep dive is brought to you by Stonefly. They're leaders in enterprise storage, backup and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions.
Good folks over there.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for secure, maybe ransomware-proof storage, they've got options like air-gapped and immutable solutions. Just reach out to sales@stonefly.com for a demo.
Worth checking out.
So what we're digging into today is this recently discovered vulnerability. It's CVE 2024-7399,
Right.
and why it kind of shines a light on these broader security risks with file uploads and web applications generally.
Yeah, it's a really good example of a common problem.
We'll also explore how Samsung, tackled this in their MagicINFO software updates. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's get right to it. CVE 2024-7399. What's really interesting here is the classification.
How so?
It's labeled as an improper limitation of a path name to a restricted directory vulnerability.
Okay, break that down a bit. Like, what does that mean in simple terms?
Think of it like this. Imagine your file upload system has, designated drop-off points, specific folders where files should go.
Right, the safe zones.
Exactly. But this flaw, in Samsung MagicINFO 9 server versions, before 21.1050, well, it meant those boundaries weren't properly enforced.
So, the digital equivalent of someone being able to deliver a package anywhere they want in the building, not just the designated loading dock.
Precisely. And the really critical part, the scary part, is that an attacker could potentially write files with system authority.
Oof. System authority.
Yeah, so they're not just dropping off a package wherever they want. They basically have the master key to the whole building while they're doing it.
Wow. Okay, so they could gain pretty significant control over the system then.
Significant control, yeah. And interestingly, this vulnerability was actually flagged by Samsung TV and appliance themselves.
Oh, really? So they found their own issue.
Seems that way, which, tells you they're actively looking under the hood. Proactive.
That's definitely a good sign. When did this all come to light officially?
It was recorded in the National Vulnerability Database, the NVD, on August 12th, 2024.
Okay.
And it was updated just the next day, so it was documented pretty quickly. What's also telling are the severity ratings.
Ah, the CBSS scores. Right. Hit us with those numbers. What should we be paying attention to?
So we're looking at CVSS 3.x scores. NIST, the organization that runs the NVD, gave a score of 7.5.
7.5, that's firmly in the high severity category, right?
It is. But Samsung TV and Appliance, the ones who reported it, they actually rated it even higher at 8.8.
Yeah.
Also, high severity, obviously.
Huh. An 8.8 versus a 7.5. Why the difference, you think?
Well, it often comes down to perspective, how each entity sees the potential for exploitation, the likely real-world impact.
Right.
Samsung, knowing their system inside out, probably sees a clearer, maybe easier path to potential harm.
Makes sense. They know the weak spots best.
Exactly. And they also link this to specific common weakness enumerations, CWEs.
Okay, what are those?
They pointed to CWE-22, which is, like we discussed, about not properly restricting file paths. That's our package delivery anywhere analogy.
The path traversal thing.
Right. But they also linked it to CWE-434. And that one's about allowing the unrestricted upload of files with a dangerous type.
Ah, so it's a double whammy, potentially. It's not just where the file can go, but also what kind of nasty file could be uploaded in the first place.
Precisely. So even if you fix the path issue, you still need to worry about dangerous file types getting through. They're highlighting both risks.
Gotcha. So this whole situation, the CVE, it's really just one example of a much bigger issue, isn't it? File upload vulnerabilities.
Or absolutely. It's a classic high-stakes area in web application security.
It feels like we talk about these a lot. Why are they such a persistent headache?
Because the functionality itself, letting users upload files, it seems so basic, so necessary for many apps.
Yeah, like profile pictures, documents.
Right. But if the checks and balances, the security around that upload process aren't rock solid, it creates huge openings. It's like leaving a back door slightly ajar.
Yeah.
Attackers are always rattling the handle.
Okay, so beyond this specific Samsung case, remind us, what's the worst that can happen if these file upload vulnerabilities aren't handled properly? What kind of chaos are we talking about?
Well, the potential fallout is pretty severe. One of the most dangerous outcomes is remote code execution, or RCE.
Right, the holy grail for attackers.
Basically, yeah. Imagine an attacker uploads a file, maybe disguised as something harmless,
Right.
but when the server processes it, boom, the attacker can run their own commands on your server.
Yikes. What else?
They could overwrite critical system files,
Mhm.
delete things, change configurations. That could crash the whole system or make it totally unstable.
Okay.
Denial of service attacks are another real threat. They could just flood the system with malicious uploads,
Yeah.
overwhelm it, and make it completely unavailable for legitimate users.
Just bog it down until it stops.
Exactly. And in a worst-case scenario, they could potentially gain complete control of the entire web server. Full access to everything. That's about as bad as it gets. So what are the common ways these vulnerabilities sneak in? Where do things typically go wrong?
We see a few recurring themes, definitely. A big one is just not restricting the types of files allowed.
Like letting anything through, .exe files, scripts?
Yeah, exactly. Or having really weak checks on the file type, like only looking at the file name extension, which is easily faked. Or weak MIME type validation, just trusting what the browser says the file is.
So you can't just trust the label on the box.
Definitely not. You got to look inside.
Yeah.
Then there are storage vulnerabilities.
Where the files end up.
Right. Storing uploaded files in places that are directly accessible from the web, that's a common mistake.
Like putting sensitive documents in your public website folder. Pretty much. Or having insufficient access controls on those stored files. And directly relevant here, path traversal issues in storage locations, letting attackers use tricks like upload deck to save files outside the intended upload directory.
The MagicINFO issue again?
Yep. Processing flaws are another category. This is when the server itself has problems trying to read or handle the uploaded file.
How so?
Things like buffer overflows if the file is too big or malformed, or vulnerabilities in how the server processes specific types, like, say, XML files, or even images sometimes.
So even seemingly safe files can cause trouble if the processing isn't secure.
Correct. Then there's content validation issues, like malicious code hidden inside a file's metadata.
Sneaky.
Very. Or those things called polyglot files. Files crafted to look like one type of file but act like another depending on how they're opened. And simply a lack of antivirus scanning on uploads.
It's just hoping for the best.
Kinda, yeah. And finally, basic access control problems, like allowing uploads without requiring users to log in first.
Anyone can upload anything.
Potentially, yeah. Or insufficient authorization. Maybe logged in users can upload, but they can upload to places they shouldn't have access to. And even things like cross-site request forgery, CSRF, targeting the upload form itself.
Wow, okay. It's a minefield. So how do attackers actually exploit these weaknesses? What are their common tricks?
Oh, they have a whole bag of tricks. Extension manipulation is a big one.
Like changing .txt to .php.
Or trying to fool filters, like file.php.jpg, hoping the system only sees the .jpg. Using weird capitalization like .php. Sometimes even inserting special null byte characters in the file name to terminate it early in the system's eyes.
Like a digital disguise.
You could say that. Content type spoofing is another, telling the server a malicious script is just an image peg.
Lying about what it is.
Exactly. Then there are attacks embedded within the file content, like hiding PHP code inside the metadata of an image file, or using those polyglot files we mentioned.
Hiding in plain sight.
Right. They also target weaknesses in server-side processing. Maybe exploiting a flaw in an image resizing library, or using things like ZIP bombs, compressed files that expand massively to cause denial of service.
Ah, okay.
Path traversal, using those dot sequences in file names. That's key to the MagicINFO vulnerability we started with, trying to navigate out of the allowed upload folder.
That's the direct exploit here.
Precisely. And then there's direct file execution. Uploading web shells, small scripts that give them remote control.
Like opening a back door.
Exactly. Or uploading configuration files like .htaccess on Apache servers to change server settings in their favor. And even if they can't get server-side execution, they might upload files with client-side scripts.
Like JavaScript.
Yeah, embedded in, say, an HTML or SVG file. That could lead to stored cross-site scripting, XSS, affecting other users who view that file.
It sounds like a constant battle.
Mm-hmm.
So given all that, what are the fundamental security principles? What absolutely has to be done right when building file upload features?
Okay, number one, strictly limit accepted file types using a whitelist. Only allow what you absolutely need.
Whitelist, not blacklist. Got it.
Absolutely. Validate everything about the upload request. The file name, the size, any associated metadata, not just the file content itself. And crucially, never trust the content type header sent by the browser.
Verify, don't trust.
Exactly. Verify the actual file content server side.
Yeah.
Take control of file names. Generate your own unique, random file names if possible.
Instead of using the user's name.
Ideally, yes. Or if you must use user-provided names, Sanitize them rigorously, remove special characters, block path traversal attempts, limit file sizes, both individual files and maybe total uploads per user.
Prevent those denial of service attempts.
Right, and restrict upload privileges.
Yeah.
Only authenticated users who actually need to upload should be able to. Principle of least privilege.
Makes sense. What about storage?
Store uploaded files outside the web server's public root directory. That's critical, ideally on completely separate storage.
So they can't be accessed directly via a URL.
Correct. Use internal mapping or database storage. Implement additional checks. Antivirus scanning is a good baseline. Keep all your libraries, anything that touches these files, up to date.
Patching, always patching.
Always. And protect against CSRF on your upload forms. Use anti-CSRF tokens.
Okay, that's a good set of principles. How about some concrete best practices, things developers should be doing right now?
Okay, building on those principles. For extension validation, check it after decoding the file name. Use well-vetted libraries. Whitelist allowed extensions strictly.
Only what's needed.
Yes. For content validation, don't just trust the extension. Check the file's actual signature, the magic bytes, to confirm its type.
Look inside the file.
Right. Process files based on their actual type. If it's an image, rewrite it using a safe image library. If it's a document, use appropriate secure libraries. Be really wary of ZIP files that carry extra risks, like ZIP bombs or path traversal within the archive.
Maybe avoid them if possible.
If you can, yeah. For file name security, generate random names or strictly limit allowed characters and length if using usernames. Block hidden files, block traversal attempts explicitly.
Got it. Storage?
Outside the web root, limited permissions. Or database storage, but manage access carefully. Always require authentication and proper authorization checks for uploads. Enforce size limits rigorously.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, have a review process or a way to report malicious content. Consider automated scanning. And again, validate everything: file type, size, content, file name, all related inputs.
A really thorough, layered approach. Okay, let's circle back to Samsung MagicINFO specifically. How did they actually address this CVE 2024-7399? What's the fix?
Well, the CVE description itself points the way. It mentions it affects versions before 21.1050.
Ah, so version 21.1050 or later should have the patch.
Exactly. And if you look at the MagicINFO 9 server release notes, version 21.1050 was actually released back on July 24th, 2024.
Oh, interesting. That's before the CVE was published in August.
It is, which suggests they might have found and fixed it internally before the public disclosure. The release notes mention various things, new features, other fixes, but they do specifically list security vulnerability fixes as a category.
So it's very likely the fix for the CVE is in that 21.1050 released, or maybe a subsequent patch.
Highly probable, yes. The clear message for anyone running Samsung MagicINFO 9 server is pretty simple. Update.
Make sure you're on 21.1050 or newer. It's not just about new features, it's critical for security.
Absolutely critical. Users really need to verify their version number and get patched to protect themselves from this specific risk. And it's worth noting, the release notes for earlier versions also mention security fixes, so Samsung seems to be continuously working on hardening the platform.
It really just hammers home the importance of keeping all your software updated, doesn't it? Especially anything network-facing.
Couldn't agree more. It's fundamental. Patching regularly is just basic security hygiene. You have to do it.
Well, this deep dive into the Samsung MagicINFO vulnerability and really the whole landscape of file upload security, it definitely underscores how vital vigilance is in maintaining secure systems.
It really does. Understanding the threats, implementing these kinds of robust practices, it's key.
Absolutely. Remember, understanding potential threats and implementing robust security practices are key to protecting your digital assets. This has been an exploration into securing your digital signage environment brought to you by Stonefly. As we mentioned, they're leaders in enterprise storage, backup and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions.
Great solutions for these kinds of security concerns.
Definitely. So, for secure, ransomware-proof storage, including those air-gapped and immutable options, do contact sales at stonefly.com to arrange your personalized demo. We really hope this discussion has given you some valuable insights.
Yeah, I hope it was useful.
Keep exploring, stay curious, keep patching, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.